About a year and a half into our fertility journey, my doctor finally told me to stop using beauty products that had chemicals in them. So since then, I have gotten really into the health and wellness area, trying to find products that still feel beautiful, that still feel luxurious, that still go on well, stay, all the things, but don't have chemicals in them. And I have finally found a company that I absolutely love. Love, love, love. Primally Pure. Primally Pure is, number one, you can pronounce all of the ingredients. Number two, completely clean. Not clean as like we're going to say we're clean, but we're going to still use words like natural flavoring. No. This is a legitimately clean company. I have tried their peppermint lip balm. I'm not really a lip balm girl, but man, this stuff feels so good on my lips. And I don't even feel like I need a gloss or a lipstick after this, that I can just go very natural and still look put together and feel put together. The ingredients are organic coconut oil, organic beeswax, organic cocoa butter, organic mango butter, organic tallow from grass-fed cows, organic peppermint oil, and non-GMO vitamin E. That's it. All organic or non-GMO, very important, and still feels so good. Most importantly, the products last forever. I also absolutely love the lemongrass deodorant. It's the only deodorant that I have found that's clean, that you also don't have to reapply 20 times a day. So this company is absolutely incredible. They also have a body butter that I absolutely adore. And right now I'm using the citrus mint. Smells so fresh. It's so summery. Absolutely love it. If you are in the market for clean beauty products, there is a link, there is a code, there are all the things in the show notes. Check them out.
Do you want a stronger, more connected marriage without having to schedule appointments, pay a hefty fee, or find a babysitter? Connected and Committed is a 6-week self-study course designed to help you break unhealthy cycles, communicate with clarity, rebuild trust, and reignite intimacy on your own. Each week, you will dive into 3 powerful recorded coaching sessions, practical exercises, and expert-backed strategies that create lasting change. Whether you're feeling disconnected or just want to deepen your bond, this course is going to guide you every single step of the way. Purchase grants you lifetime access and can be done with your spouse or on your own. Invest in your marriage today. Visit the link in the show notes to learn more. Welcome to the Married and Connected podcast. This is the podcast to hear authentic stories of marriages that have gone from ashes to excellence, a mixture of science and biblically based tips to improve your own marriage, and experts in fields that will help you navigate the good, the bad, and the in-between of marriage. I am your host for the show, Cameron Alaricki. I'm an Enneagram 2 with a 1 wing, a former public school teacher turned Gottman certified marriage coach, intentional about practicing in my own relationship what I'm preaching to you. I'm an avid self-improvement reader, passionate about homeschooling our 2 boys, a firm believer in Jesus, and that nothing will change you for the better more than traveling. That being said, this podcast is set up as if you and I were old friends, sitting together, drinking coffee, sharing all of our deepest secrets of marriage, life, kids, and the things that set our souls on fire. If improving your marriage, authenticity, and growth are your jam as much as they are mine, you're in the right place, and I couldn't be more excited to have you here. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. Leave a review, and don't forget to share to your socials so that more people can better their marriage along with you. Thanks for listening, and let's jump into this week's episode. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Married and Connected podcast. I am your host, Cameron Alaricki, and this is the space where we talk real, honest, and practical ways to strengthen your marriage and create lasting connection. Today's episode is all about something that's not often talked about directly, but it's quietly shaping the emotional climate of millions of marriages, and that is the emotional load. If you've ever found yourself saying, I'm the only one thinking about all of the things, or if you've ever felt like your spouse is physically there, but emotionally checked out, this one's for you. We are going deep today, as we do in every other episode as well. So let's start by defining it. What is the emotional load? Well, the emotional load or emotional labor in marriage refers to invisible, ongoing, and mental and emotional effort
required to manage the well-being of your family, relationship, home life, and often your partner's emotions too. And this includes remembering birthdays, appointments, school events, planning meals, anticipating needs, diffusing tension, being the emotional thermostat of the home. That's managing conflict, calming emotions, noticing when something feels off, and bringing it to your partner. It's being the initiator for important conversations or deeper connection. And what's hard is that the emotional labor is often unseen and unspoken. You're not going to go to your partner and be like, so I spent 23 minutes today being the initiator for important conversations and deciding on what we need to talk about for deeper connection. And here's what it is. You're not keeping tabs on all of that. And that makes it really easy for the imbalance to go unchecked. One partner becomes the default caretaker of everything intangible. And over time, that can lead to some serious consequences. So what does an emotional labor imbalance look like? You might be in an emotional labor imbalance if one of you is always the one to bring up relationship problems, if you feel like you are the glue holding everything together, or if your partner has even told you that you're the glue that holds everything together. You're constantly checking in, managing schedules, or taking the emotional temperature of the relationship. Hey, are we okay? Like, I feel really disconnected to you right now. Can we put something on the calendar? We haven't had a date night in 6 months. Can we go ahead and do that? We haven't had a trip together, just the two of us, since, our youngest kid was born and he's 12 now. Can we do something like that? You feel resentful, lonely, or even exhausted, even when your partner is technically, quote unquote, helping around the house. A Harvard Business Review study found that when one partner is carrying more of the emotional labor, even unknowingly, it leads to a lot more increased resentment and emotional distance. And the kicker? It's usually not malicious. It's habitual. Most of us didn't grow up learning how to share emotional labor. We watched someone carry it, or we absorbed the message that one partner should. But marriage is a partnership. And partnership means that we're not just sharing bills and a bed. We're sharing the weight of creating a meaningful, connected life. So here's my question for you. How often are women carrying more of the emotional labor than men in heterosexual relationships? And does it have anything to do with their attachment style? Well, a 2019 Pew Research study found that in heterosexual marriages, women are far more likely to manage the emotional needs of the family, coordinate schedules, handle social relationships, and maintain harmony. 78% of women said that they are primarily responsible for managing their children's schedules and activities, compared to just 19% of men. A 2018 study in the Journal of Sex Roles says that women reported significantly higher levels of emotional monitoring, caretaking, and relationship management compared to their male partners. Even in egalitarian households where chores are shared more equally, emotional labor remained heavily imbalanced. A study published in American Sociological Review, which is in 2017, said that women often carry the worry work, which means the anticipating needs, the preventing conflict, the remembering birthdays, and soothing emotions. Men often underestimate the amount of emotional labor that their wives carry, contributing to tension and resentment. A 2020 YouGov survey found that 46% of women in long-term relationships said that they are the primary emotional support for their partner, while only 14% of men said the same. And here's the thing, it's not about throwing men under the bus. It's just one of those things that, as I said before, we watched one partner handle all of the emotional load as we were growing up, and that's what we took on. Women, we looked to our mothers to see what good wives were and what that role looked like and how to make that happen. Meanwhile, for men, they're looking at their wives saying, okay, what's acceptable? What should be my wife's role? What should be my role as the husband? Well, if your dad didn't take care of any of the emotional labor and your mom took care of it all, what are you going to replicate in your marriage? Just like this. So why this happens? Social conditioning is a big one. From a young age, girls are taught to nurture and soothe and anticipate other people's needs. Boys are often taught to suppress emotion or avoid emotional messiness. Gender expectations. Women are seen as the emotional glue in families, expected to remember, care, mediate, and maintain peace. You hear it constantly that a man will say, I just want my woman to be my peace. Where do you think they got that? Emotional indivisibility. Many aspects of emotional labor are invisible, and it's not just what's done, but what's carried mentally and emotionally, which makes it really hard for the other partner to recognize or share. How attachment styles play into emotional labor imbalance is that an anxious attachment often becomes the emotional caretaker. They feel a deep need to keep the relationship emotionally stable and read into everything. So they're constantly scanning, they're constantly on high alert because this is what they grew up with. They weren't sure if mom or dad was ever going to actually meet their needs because sometimes they got met and sometimes they didn't. And so they're on high alert with their nervous system, scanning for threats, scanning for what needs to be changed, what needs to be fixed, what needs to grow. And they might anticipate needs, overextend, and hypermanage the emotional temperature, which is classic emotional labor. The result, though, is that this partner becomes really overwhelmed, resentful, and especially this happens if their efforts go unnoticed. Whereas an avoidant attachment tends to withdraw from emotional demands. They feel overwhelmed, smothered, or resistant to deep emotional connection because it makes them feel engulfed. They may unconsciously expect their partner to do the emotional work, remember the events, resolve the conflicts, initiate the emotional check-ins, because they don't want to. They're avoidant. That's what they're doing. Now, of course, this is dismissive avoidant behavior and not fearful avoidant. The result for a dismissive avoidant partner is that their partner ends up carrying the bulk of the emotional labor, which leads to the imbalance. The fearful avoidant attachment can oscillate between anxious and avoidant behaviors, making emotional labor really confusing. They may take on labor when they're afraid of losing their partner, but then pull away out of fear of overwhelm. And the result here is that inconsistency adds more weight to the partner who tries to stabilize the relationship. Whereas a secure attachment is more likely to share emotional responsibilities. They can express needs specifically. They can listen empathetically and show up emotionally without being overburdened or avoidant. And the result here is that emotional labor is more balanced, but even secure individuals can carry too much if partnered with somebody who is emotionally unavailable. And the cost is that when one partner, usually the woman, carries too much emotional labor, resentment builds, connection erodes, sexual intimacy declines, because remember that a woman can't have 450 things in her head and actually be in the game. When we're having sex with our partner, it is mental. We have to be out of our head in order to truly let go and enjoy. And the burdened partner may feel unseen, alone, or mothering their spouse, which kind of creates this parent-child dynamic, not a romantic one. So if your partner is really having a hard time with being intimate with you, this might be why. So what happens when the imbalance goes unchecked? Well, over time, emotional labor imbalance leads to resentment, which is, why do I always have to be the one to bring it up? It leads to burnout, which is the emotionally present partner becomes emotionally exhausted, and it leads to disconnection. You guys become like roommates, which you're just going through the motions without really feeling together. It leads to avoidance. The partner doing less emotionally may start avoiding conflict or checking out even more because they feel guilty or unsure of how to step up. And this creates a really vicious cycle. One partner withdraws, the other leans in harder, which creates more distance, not less. So here's the question. What do we do about it? Well, let's talk solutions. Start with curiosity, not shame. Don't shut down or get defensive. Instead, ask yourself, what do I feel when my partner brings me their emotions? What did I learn about expressing or managing feelings growing up? Emotional unavailability is often rooted in avoidant or fearful avoidant attachment styles, and the first step toward healing that is awareness. Number 2, build tolerance for emotional discomfort. Emotional labor requires presence, not perfection. Very important. Your partner doesn't need you to solve everything. They need you to stay with them emotionally. And this might look like sitting with really hard feelings without shutting down, listening without interrupting or jumping to fix, saying things like, you know what, I don't totally understand, but I'm here and I want to. Number 3, you're going to practice tiny, consistent moments of engagement. Start really small. Ask your partner how they're feeling, not just what they did today. Be specific. How are they feeling? How was that meeting with your client? How did that presentation go? Hey, did you land that account today? How did that sale go? Things like that are specific. What was your favorite part of your day? What was the worst part of your day? There's an exercise that one of my past clients does with their family. They sit down at the dinner table every night and they call it happy and crappy. What was the happy part of your day? What was the crappy part of your day? And they go around the table and all of them say what the happy and crappy part of their day was. And that's how they connect every night. Initiate a check-in. Hey, how's your heart? Did you know that in one of my conversations with one of my best friends, we were talking about men versus women and things that as a man, they would like to hear more from their partner. And he said, I enjoy when my wife asks me, hey, how's your emotional health? How's your mental health? How's your physical health? Versus, hey, how are you doing? How are you? How are you really? Like things like that. And offer validation. That makes sense why you'd feel that way. Can you tell me more about that? Validation does not mean that you agree with what they're saying. It just means that you care about your partner and you want them to feel like they matter. Think of this like emotional weight training. You don't lift 200 pounds on day one. You start with reps and you build muscle consistently over time. And just like being in the gym, if you take a couple of weeks off and you're not consistent, you're going to fall behind and you're going to have to lessen the weight and do more to build more. Number 4, you're going to share your own inner world. Emotional availability isn't just receiving emotions. It's also about sharing yours. So if you don't know how you feel, that's okay. But try something like, I'm feeling something, but I can't quite name it yet. Or I have thoughts on this, but I feel like I need to process them a little bit more before I share. Can you give me 20 minutes? Can we pick this back up tomorrow? Something like that. Saying something like, I'm learning how to be more open. Can we work on this together? This vulnerability is what builds intimacy. I have said it time and time again, but there is nothing sexier in a relationship than vulnerability and humility. So what do you do if you're the partner carrying the emotional load? Likely, you're exhausted, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. You've become the manager of your marriage's emotional climate, and it's heavy. So let's talk about what to do when you're tired of carrying it all. Number 1, acknowledge your experience without blame. It's okay to say something like, hey, I feel like I'm carrying the emotional weight of both of us, and I feel very frustrated by that. Here's what I need. And then state specifically what you need your partner to do. I want both of us to feel responsible for our relationship. I can't do this alone. Can you please handle your mother's gift for Christmas? Can you please take care of sending out birthday cards this month? Can you please take care of managing the kids' school supplies and all of the homework and things this month? It's not about accusing. It's about naming the reality. Number 2, I want you to stop overfunctioning. This one is hard, but it is transformative. If you are constantly checking in, managing moods, initiating talks, and doing all of the repair, just hit pause. You are not responsible for your partner's emotional growth. Give them space and a requirement to rise. And this is not a requirement that you're going to voice. You are instead going to ask something like, hey, can we schedule time to talk about what you're feeling this week? Invite them to the conversation. Invite them to actually do the work on themselves. Ask something like, what do you need from me today to help you feel more connected. And then let them carry it. Number 3, request, don't resent. Instead of harboring this silent frustration, make clear, actionable requests. Hey, it would mean a lot to me if you planned a date night for us this month. And then let go and let them do it. Say something like, hey, I'd love it if you checked in with me emotionally once a day. Even a 5-minute chat would be supremely helpful. And then let them do it. Now, here is the difference. Partners, if your partner is coming to you and giving you a specific need, they are giving you the roadmap to loving them and loving them well. So what happens if you drop the ball? Most likely, again, because we talked about the fact that emotional needs and emotional labor is mostly being carried by anxious attachers and women. What's going to happen is if you drop the ball and it doesn't get done, if you say you're going to do it and you don't, that is where the resentment comes in. And the resentment can be a roadmap for your needs if expressed respectfully. But listen, if your partner is resenting you, you have to play a part in owning that and owning the responsibility for the reason for the resentment. Because most likely it is a request that has been made multiple times, not just once. And that is where the breakdown of the relationship lies, is that your partner has asked multiple times. They're carrying 12 plates and you're only carrying 5. And they ask you to take a few from them. You say you will, and then you don't. Their arms are tired. Their heart is tired. They don't feel like they can set any of these plates down, and every day they wake up and all 12 plates still need to be carried. It also creates a masculine energy in your partner that takes away from you. And that's where it creates the alpha male dynamic in your relationship, where your partner is not in her feminine because she can't be, because you're in your wounded feminine. Prioritize self-connection if you are the partner that is carrying the mental load. Number 4, prioritize self-connection. When you're emotionally depleted, the first person you need to reconnect with is yourself. And this is going to look like journaling how you feel instead of suppressing it. Do not just shove it down. It's going to erupt like Mount Vesuvius. Do something for pleasure, not productivity. Something that just makes you happy. Spend time with people who see you clearly. People that you can connect with that get it. Also know that this isn't a blame game. Emotional labor imbalance is often a cycle fueled by unspoken fears, past wounds, and attachment patterns. But you don't have to stay stuck. Rebalancing emotional labor is a choice. It is a shared responsibility. It is a practice of love through presence and vulnerability and intentional repair. And it's possible, especially when both partners commit to doing the work. The goal here isn't to tally every task. It's to create a climate where both partners are emotionally attuned, engaged, and responsible for the health of the relationship. If you've been listening and thinking, could I be the emotionally unavailable one in my relationship? First, I want to say this. Number 1, that's really brave of you to ask. Just asking the question is a sign that you're ready to grow. And here's some questions to gently explore within yourself. Don't rush through them, just sit with them. See what comes up. Write down your answers. The connection between your mind and your hand, writing things down is wildly powerful. So definitely write these down. Number 1, how comfortable am I sitting with my partner's emotions? Do I feel anxious or frustrated when they cry, get angry, or feel overwhelmed? Do I try to solve their feelings quickly instead of just listening? Do I ever shut down or tune out when things get emotionally intense? Number 2, do I often feel unsure of how I feel or avoid sharing it? Do I struggle to name what I'm feeling? Do I keep things to myself because I don't want to be a burden and I don't think it matters? Do I deflect with humor, sarcasm, or silence instead of being honest about what's going on inside? Number 3, what did emotional expression look like in my family growing up? Was I taught that emotions are weak, unnecessary, or dangerous? Was I encouraged to get over it or man up? Did anyone model healthy emotional expression to me at all? Number 4, do I feel overwhelmed or suffocated by emotional needs, mine or my partner's? Do I secretly, or not so secretly, think my partner is too much? Do I get irritated when they walk or talk or connect deeply? Do I feel like I have to perform in emotional conversations instead of just being me? Number 5, do I tend to withdraw, shut down, or stonewall during conflict or deep conversations? And when conflict starts, do I go cold, get quiet, or walk away? Do I avoid difficult tasks until things explode? Do I say things like, I don't want to talk about this, or why are you making this a big deal? Number 6, have I ever been told that I'm hard to read, distant, or disconnected? Has my partner or someone close to me said they don't know what's going on with me? Have they said that they feel alone in the relationship? Have they said they're doing this relationship alone emotionally? Number 7, do I find it easier to be physically present than emotionally present? Am I the type to do things like fix the car, handle chores, pay bills, instead of talk about emotions? Do I equate showing love with doing, not feeling? If you answered yes to several of these, it doesn't mean that you're bad. It means you've likely built emotional walls to protect yourself. And now those walls may be pushing away the person that you love the most. But here's the good news. Emotional availability is a skill, not a personality trait. You can learn to show up differently. You can rewire how you relate, and your marriage can get stronger. One honest, open, connected moment at a time. Which leads me to the fact that emotional labor isn't a personality issue. It's a skills gap. One more truth bomb here is that your spouse may not be emotionally absent because they don't care. They may just lack the tools. And assuming that it's because they don't care is a filter and a narrative often had by one with an anxious attachment. So instead of judging them for not caring, understand that while you may not have the tools yet to not assume the worst of them in the midst of your exhaustion, overwhelm, and stress, they don't yet have the tools to be emotionally present and available. And if you missed last week's episode on the loop of doom, this right here is a prime example of that loop of doom and how it starts. And this is why I do what I do in my one-on-one coaching program, to help couples develop the emotional awareness and communication skills that actually allow for real, lasting connection. If you are ready to stop carrying the weight alone or ready to re-engage emotionally with your spouse, let's talk. You don't have to do this by yourself. Head to www.recognizingpotential.com and let's get started. So friends, emotional labor isn't just a buzzword. It's the invisible weight that shapes your entire marriage experience. Recognizing it is the first step to healing it. You deserve a marriage where both of you are seen, supported, and emotionally present. Thanks for being here with me today. And if this episode hit home for you, would you do me a favor? Screenshot it, share it on Instagram, and tag me at married.and.connected. And let's keep the conversation going. And don't forget, small efforts every day build strong marriages.
I want to take a moment to share an important disclaimer, not for myself, but for my legal team. This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. And while I am a certified marriage coach, I am not a licensed therapist, counselor, or medical professional. The information, opinions, and advice shared here are based on my experience, research, and expertise, but they are not a substitute for professional mental health, legal, or medical advice. Every relationship is unique, and what works for one couple may not work for another. If you're facing serious relationship struggles, mental health concerns, or other challenges, I encourage you to seek the guidance of a qualified professional. By listening to this podcast, you agree that I, Cameron Alaricki, and the Married and Connected podcast are not responsible for any decisions that you make based on the content shared here. Your relationship, your choices, and your outcomes are ultimately in your hands.